Okay, we got a really good one today. The reason it's good, I don't think I've ever got this question before, and I know I've never answered it until now. So the question is, how did I attain capital from investors? It's a really interesting question, and it's really not the best success story. So I'm kind of maybe a little embarrassed about it, but I'll show you how it all worked out. Now, there's a lot of elements that I'm going to suggest, and some really good takeaways. I always like to have takeaways in my videos. So I'm going to make sure I have them. So stick around for a few minutes. But let me tell you sort of the embarrassing one, or at least the start, when I started to raise capital. Okay, the first one. Don't do this at home, kids. I borrowed money off my credit card. All right. And I just took about, I think it was 13,000. For some reason, I remember that number. And I took it and I worked for a prop firm where nowadays prop firms will usually fund you or partially fund you. What there was basically they call first loss capital, where you're able to use the desk, the facilities. They'll have maybe senior traders who can help you out, but pretty much it's your dollars. All right. And I didn't have it and I thought I'd give it a shot. And I was excited about it and I was trading at home demo, so I figured I'd give it a shot and have some professional guidance. The challenge with that was commissions were about $20 a round turn for a regular lot of stock, so it was 1,000 shares. 19.99, something like that, and I couldn't get a break based on my volume because it wasn't that high. So there are times where I would make 200-300 a day and pretty much give it all back to the firm. Not a happy ending, and quite honestly, I think it did pretty well because I kind of broke even. But of course, a lot of that went to commissions. But if it wasn't for the commissions, I actually would have done really well. So that was the inspiration for me to take it to the next level. I felt I had the risk management and sort of the core principles and the guidance. I had a really good mentor there who helped me out. So and it was all stock. I kind of looked at that as sort of a positive thing. Didn't have nothing to show for it, but I was there for about maybe 9 months a year and really became sort of like a senior veteran trader there after a while training other people, so I got compensated for that a little bit. All right, so that was my first stint. The second one, equally embarrassing, is I was running a trading room or co-trade with another trader for Market Profile. And one of the things about doing trading rooms is you get exposed to a lot of traders. And there are some traders who say, Mike, I just, I can't do this, or it's not working, or I have to work full time. Can you just trade my capital? So I had a few traders who gave me their capital, and I remember one being 5,000 trading the future. So it was like kind of embarrassing. I really couldn't do much. One contract couldn't scale out or anything. So I kind of just helped them out, and it didn't last long. It was kind of just a joke, and I don't know. I think it was net about $200. Yeah, just take it and just go. And we're still friends today, so that's kind of cool. The next one was during this trading room exposure. I hooked up with an investor and he wanted to give me $1.3 million to trade. Now, at the time, and it still is, pretty big sum of money. I knew him through another trader who had confidence in me. So we chatted a lot and went through. And he was very into documents and stuff. He had a trust or something. I don't know. It was all like foreign to me. I just okay, I'm going to trade this, and that was a lot of money. And it was sort of I think it was an 80-10-20 split standard. Really excited about it. I remember going to Vegas. I had to speak, and I remember like all day the day after running to like these drugstores and getting copies and faxes back then, documents signed. It was just like a nightmare. But anyway, I got it done because I was all excited. We had a game plan. I had the strategy. Just kind of leave me alone. Let me do what I got to do. And literally the first week, he basically wanted to have sort of these chats after the market closed and go over my trades. And he was saying, why'd you take this or why didn't you take that? And I was just like, well, this is my strategy. I'm doing it. We well agreed to it. It was very not just verbally communicated, but it was on paper. But apparently everything changed. He was a little obsessive with the stuff. And I understand it's his capital, but at the same time, it just got a little ridiculous. And at one point, I just said, look, if you want me to trade your account, I'll do it. But if not, let's just part ways. And we agreed to part ways. I think it was pretty much within a month. So I was kind of crushed because I was like, doing the calculations, 80-20 over 1.3 million. And apparently there was another like 1.5 waiting for me after the first month or two. So I was kind of devastated. I thought that would sort of be my big break. And maybe you were in that situation before too, where like investors start giving you capital, and like you start thinking about, wow, this can really be a game changer. And this is, before there were a lot of like prop challenges and things like that. So we'll talk about some of the things I did to really keep that communication up and keep my sort of network in touch with a lot of investors and traders and even wealthy families. And eventually my risk management practice really started to lean focus away from the corporate side to what they call a family office, which we won't really talk about it here today, but it's just you can just Google family office services, and it's really more of a holistic approach, which includes trading and investment capital, but it may also include tax issues and their operations. Maybe they have a company and maybe land or things like that, land management and stuff. So I play a role in that, not necessarily now as the trader itself, but I oversee the group of traders or investors and things like that. So it's a really cool thing. I'm glad it went in that space, but there was a key competencies that I took to the next level to make sure I had exposure to those things, and let's go over them right now. So the first one is to develop and nurture your network. Mandarin, they have a term called guanxi, right? And that basically is your network. You nurture it, you have people that come into it, some may fall out, right? But you're always working with them and you help them, they help you. And really sort of the Eastern philosophy is if you do something bad or lie or something to one of those, the whole network blows up. So it's really important that you help them, not just personally but professionally with referrals, and also they will help you as well. And also they get to know what you do for a living. So that's one thing. Start to build your network if you haven't done so already. And if you have a really good network, whether it's friends, colleagues, look at them and say, what value do they have the potential to place in your life as developing trader or your business as a trader. So look at that. Maybe they're just a friend that you can just hang out with and have a drink with and maybe talk to. That's fine too. We all need that. But who are the people that maybe can help you get to where you need to go? Next, one of the most simplest things that you can do, and this is really the key thing that I did that really got to me to expose to capital, is you just tell people what you do. That's it. What do you do? I'm a trader. I'm a futures trader. I trade FX, or I sell options premium. Whatever it is, just tell them what you do. Tell as many people what you do. And try and do it in the sense where it prompts a question back. Really? That's interesting. Even if it's a negative thing. When I tell people I'm a futures trader, the number one response I get is, "Ooh, isn't that risky?" Well, I'm a risk manager, and then you get into the whole thing. So that's how I do it. Tell people what you do. There's so many opportunities. And if you want to have people ask you what you do, ask them what they do. Because after they finish doing it, the good chance they'll ask you, so what do you do? Right? Simple marketing, simple business development, but it's used perfectly in the trader development space. All right, next. Now, if you're developing traders, I know it's difficult, right? But start to get a track record going. It doesn't have to be perfect, all right? Just you don't want to see these equity curves or go up, up, up and crash, up, up, up and crash. You want to show solid risk management and that obviously you're profitable, but doesn't have to be all the time, right? And maybe there could be a little piece that's missing. Say, I could be doing a lot better if I had the right tools. That's why I'm looking for investors who could help support fund the technology that will allow me to do that, something like that, right? Have the track record be the basis of a conversation, right? And some people are going to care less, and other people are going to be, that's really cool, especially when you compare it to some of the other things that they may be invested in. Every dollar needs a home. And right now, there's not too many homes. Market's at all-time high. Interest rates are pretty low. So there's a lot of dollars chasing sort of the rainbow. And maybe you're the answer to what they're looking for. Or next, have some type of nugget that's going to impress them. What makes you unique and special? Is it a skill set that you have? Is it your dedication? Maybe it is your track record that makes you unique and special. If you have that, then you're in pretty good footing. But I've seen a lot of track records that are really good, but they're just all sloppy. You present it with a nice, bound look and really professional with a nice, they call it one pager, right? Where it just kind of simplifies it on the front page. But what makes you unique and special? Maybe it's something that you do at work that's really well. Maybe you're a good coder, or maybe you're a good problem solver. And so combine that into the conversation with the combination and the end part saying, and that's why I trade for a living. Simple as that. What makes you unique and special? Ask that question to so many people and they don't know. Now's the time and the takeaway to find out. All right, next, get some cred and talk about it. All right. There's something that makes you very unique and special, but there's also something that makes you very credible. And maybe it doesn't. Maybe you don't have that yet. Maybe you're just new and developing. Find something that's going to make you unique and special, but also credible. Very different. I went the risk management route. So when someone asks me, what do you do? I take the risk management principles I learned in my corporate life and I brought them into the trading space. And that's what makes me successful. That's it. Okay. What are the other things you bring to the table? Did you do any writings or things like that? That will kind of get you in the door, or at least get you into the conversation, right? As opposed to a struggling trader that's just really trying to make it, right? This may be a voyage of discovery and something that you want to put in your sort of development plan per se, but find what's unique and special, but also back it up with some cred. And the credibility doesn't have to be in the trading space. Remember that. Okay, and lastly, focus on the trading itself. Remember, that's your bread and butter. You're the restaurant. You got to make sure you serve good quality food and have the diners have a good experience. You're providing alpha for investors, whether it's friends and family, or actual investors. And make sure you check your country's regulations and things like that to make sure you're fully compliant with them. And there are firms that will help you in that regard. So make sure full disclosure. Do it the right way. Okay, so I want to make sure I leave you with this one formula that's really changed really the entire way I look at business and really responsible for the success, at least success to date. All right, we'll put it on the bottom here. Activity plus exposure equals actions, which equals opportunity. Simple as that. Activity plus exposure. You have to get out, you have to talk to people, tell people what you do. All right, and we talked about that earlier. Develop that network so you have a forum in which you can communicate to people. Get involved in groups, especially nowadays. There's so many things online. You don't need to be physically in a place to do it, unlike when I was doing it. All right, activity plus exposure equals actions equals opportunities. And then let the chips fall where they may. Okay, so Etienne and I did a video recently talking about our dream team, the people in our network, our guanxi, as we talked about. All right, I want you to click on the link below. You can watch that video and you'll see how we built our own network and realize that both our strategies were somewhat different. Click the link below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and we'll see you next time.